For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you guys a bit of a review video on a brand new tent from Coleman. So this here is the Coleman Weathermaster. We've got two videos on the Weathermaster. We've got one on the 4XL, which I've got with me here, and I've got a separate one for the 6 and the 8XL, just because I feel, even though it's the same tent, same spec, you can't really grasp the 8 berth or the 6 berth size off the 4 and vice versa. So you can, by all means, watch both videos. If you like the look of this and you want something larger or want something smaller, then you can sort of flick between both things. We've also done individual pitching and packing videos. I pitched this tent on my own in the best part of about 8 minutes, whereas the 8 on my own took me about 12. So it kind of shows you the difference in terms of size and how quick and simple it really is. The joys of this means you can take this sort of tent away for a week or a weekend and pitch it on your own, not have to worry about it. And again, because you've got a sort of air beam structure, it's really nice and solid and very strong against the winds. Coleman use their sort of really nice 75 denier, 4,500mm waterproof fabric, and yet again, it's the small details probably that I'm going to point out throughout this video that you don't really see maybe elsewhere. Coleman really hit the air market about 3 years ago with the first tent, which was the Valdez 6XL, and this, for me, in my personal opinion, is kind of your next stage up. It's just the second album, if you will, and always generally the second album tending to get the things that are wrong on the first album sorted. So the main thing that sort of drove and was probably the unique selling point of a Coleman airbeam tent is the fact that you had blackout bedrooms, and that's now become more customary. You see it throughout other brands. They've got darker bedrooms, but none of them are officially blackout. So when you're in there and you zip yourself in, it literally is pitch black. But you also benefit from an internal temperature differences, depending on whether it's hot and cold, but we'll also talk more about that on the inside. Each beam is done individually, as seen from our pitching and packing video. Makes it very simple, and every single point has a kind of a dyno access point to the valve, just through these little kind of flaps, or the open door for that matter. Generally, what you can find as well is it's a really nice big open valve. Same you find on sort of high-end dinghies or other brands like sort of Outdoor Revolution or Outwow use the same kind of valve. Big press button, allows all the air out, and the actual pump itself locks on, twists on, and it's attached, then not going to pop off. Throughout the tent, you've got, like I said, unique features. So you've got things like high mesh panels at the top here to allow circulation of air, but more importantly, something that's new for this particular model only is you've got almost like a condensation outlet, should we call it. So what it is there's a small little gap in the fabric with the overlap here, and what it's designed to do is on each of the window panels pretty much, and it's designed so condensation is a real big issue these days in tents. So you can't really alleviate it completely, but you can kind of hopefully manage it. So with extra ventilation on the sort of top and at the back and side doors, help our circulation to stop that kind of difference in temperature from the internal to the external side of the fabric. But when you do have that, because it will happen regardless, what it does is as it condensates on the inside, naturally it wants to find its lowest point. So if, for example, it's in the seam of here, when water's on the seam and it's sort of stagnant, it can press through. So this, the way it's designed, is it sort of is a gradual slope leading to a little exit point for the water and moisture to escape. The water won't come in through that gap, it can only go out, just because of the way it's been designed. So that's a unique feature to this particular Weathermaster range. You've also got things like obviously side door with your sort of no-seam mesh to allow that circulation, and with a rain-safe canopy door, so you haven't got to worry about if it starts chucking down rain. You know, you can leave this sort of door open, keep it ventilated, or nip in and out of here on a rainy day. You've also got things like they're carefully thought a reinforced kind of almost like a tarpaulin kind of material behind the pad to stop anything rubbing on there. So certain things like that do make quite a bit of a difference. You've got their sort of rain kind of safe skirts that allows the water to sort of swish offwards rather than collect at the bottom and potentially feed underneath the tent. And on the floor you've got this really nice open big canopy. Throughout the whole range you've got storm straps on the front and back to give it extra bit of bounce and braces, and you've got sort of tension and even things like a little retaining elasticated strap just to kind of keep it kind of at bay if you wanted to. But a great sort of depth in the canopy area to allow yourself to cook things as and when you need to. The joys of this is all the beams are pretty much near enough the same kind of length, and the one at the front's maybe slightly bit longer, so you can, if you wanted to, if carry a spare tube, or the system's very easy to replace as and when you need to. You've got a unique sort of ventilation panel at the back, which we say we'll go to in just a second. But let's have a look on the inside of the actual Weathermaster and talk through a few more features that it actually has. So now inside the Weathermaster, you can kind of get a bit more idea for sort of maybe the three main zones you've got in here. So you've got your sleeping area at the back where Archie is, your sort of main living area, and obviously this kind of open canopy area. The open canopy area, like I said, gives it a little bit more shelter against sort of the elements, and certainly allows that you've got a sort of rain-safe door in and out the front here. But you can happily put like a little storage unit or a cooking table, zip the door up and allow yourself to cook under here more than happily under shelter. Into the main kind of section here, you've got sort of obviously window panels on the front, and yet again anywhere you've got pretty much window panels in the main body of the tent, you've got zip up and down curtains as well. One thing you can see is actually there is kind of a no sort of lip in and out of the actual tent as well. So, excuse me. So again, there's no step in and out, and actually there's a little zips located down here. Just kind of push that down or push it up, so you have that trip-free access, or if you want that security when you want to sort of seal yourself up, you can do so as well. The way it's small things like the things that the details, like the zip, for example, is sewn in the other way around, and it's also then got a clear plastic kind of protector on the zip. Because the zip lays flat, it then means that it's protected against mud or muck or something get in there and then most likely ruining the zip after sort of multiple uses. Also in the middle door between two sections, you've got a full mesh door located as well. So you can zip that down. You in? Or are you out? You can stay there. So again, really nice big mesh panel to allow circulation in, and because it actually zips onto the bottom part there, it really gives you a proper seal all the way around. So it's a real full-on seal. Bum, bum, bum. So pop that back up there. That can then sort of toggle in. The colour scheme on this tent is really quite nice actually. It's certainly, I think, better than the Valdez 6XL and even the Valdez Deluxe. I think it just works quite nicely, and it's a more kind of friendly and more nice airy tent to be in. Certainly the grey panel on the roof helps to light up a bit, and the green all around makes it a bit different to the likes of the greys and the blues on the campsite. Like I said, you've got zip curtains throughout the whole tent, so you've got little pockets where it's kind of kept, and then you can get a proper full-on nice coverage. And because it goes up to just below the vent, you can still allow ventilation in and out of the tent. And both, everywhere you've got a window, like I said, you've got a nice big vent at the top, which is rain safe. The joys of zips, you can bring it down halfway, kind of tuck it over, allow yourself a little bit of light, but also a bit of privacy at the same time. And alternatively, if you don't want to use it, you can just sort of kind of roll it into the little pocket at the bottom. And it certainly stays there. I think one thing probably you could accuse Coleman of in previous years is the lack of brilliant holes or blackout idea, but not really the spec in that level of tents. Things like they say the Valdez Deluxe or the Valdez 6XL, you haven't got things like zip curtains or zip dividers or extra mesh doors. So this model seems to sort of tick a lot of boxes, and I think certainly why it's going to probably be a bit more popular, well, even more popular, especially with the blackout kind of scenario. You've got a hanging point for a lantern throughout the whole tent, so on every single beam, even including the canopy area, you can actually hang a lantern up quite nicely. So it gives you lots of flexibility throughout the whole tent. You've also got little Velcro tabs located down here. Run the both on both sides, leading down to cable entry points, so you have your mains cable in here, or having to leave the door open the whole time. In kind of the bedroom section, you've got storage pockets located in the front to help you kind of declutter the main body of the tent. And also you've even got storage pockets in the inside of the inner quite nice and neatly. Now, blackout. Blackout is a term that sort of, I said, only really come around the last couple of years. The joys of it is, A, what it says on the tin, it's using blackout fabric and on the inside to give you a better night's sleep. A, because it's going to be darker, pretty much pitch black. But B, also in terms of the internal temperature. So In a blackout bedroom during the daytime, there will be about a 5-degree temperature difference between a blackout and non-blackout. So it's going to be 5 degrees cooler during the day, but then 4 degrees warmer at night. So one thing that certainly wakes you up at dawn is not only the light, but also when it gets cold. So when you wake up and you get cold, naturally you find yourself, sorry, you find yourself sort of, waking up early and shivering. So that's where that's going to help. It sort of takes the sun throughout the day, traps it in sort of gradually, and holds that warmth in there to keep you warm. Zip dividers, like I was talking about, between two sections, and you've even got a hanging point in the bedroom section as well. If the blackout concept's probably too dark for you, you can kind of monitor it. So you can either, you've got a nice big mesh panel located in the front for help for breathability, but you can always bring that down a little bit to allow a bit of light through, so it's not completely pitch black for the kids. So you can, like I said, there's kind of levels you can put to it. You also, on the inner bedrooms of the Weathermaster, you've got this kind of, well, I wouldn't say it's new, it's something Attwoolls probably did a few years ago, is a kind of webbing kind of sort of inner tent. So rather than having a single point which takes all the brunt of the actual webbing point, by having it sort of on this meshy kind of fabric, it spreads the load, means you get less pull on one single point, meaning it's going to last longer and sort of be more sort of resilient to sort of wear and tear. At the back as well, which is really nice in this particular Weathermaster, you've got a really great ventilation system. So you've got a zip located at the back here. Now, there's a mesh panel located in here, but what you can actually do is access the outside vent more than happily from the inside of the tent. So it means that you can open it up and allow, probably see a little bit more light coming through now, so you can allow circulation through. So if it's chucking down with rain, you can get that level of ventilation without having to worry about going outside if it starts raining and getting it all in. But let's pick the camera up now and have a little bit of walk through around the tent. So, like I said, you can probably get a bit more idea for the canopy section. So you've got a decent sort of depth, and there's quite a nice open canopy. And because that beam is slightly slanted, it helps in your favour to give you better roof coverage and a bit more support. Now, as we sort of walk through, it's quite a nice, small, compact size. I see it as a more of a kind of family of 4, or a sort of nice couples tent. But yeah, windows all around means you get great sort of vision around the campsite. And obviously the sort of natural sloping line really does help. Low level ventilation beneath the window is a big. So now moving into the bedroom section, you can also see that sort of darkness in there. So you can see it's quite dark in here, which is perfect. You can actually open it up like we talked about. And at the top there, you've got a little hanging point which kind of glows a little bit to how you find it. That's your kind of ventilation panel. On this side, I actually kept half of it sort of closed. So you can see probably a little bit of light coming through there. But there's your zip dividers as well. So you can actually segregate into a 2 and a 2 berth, or open it up completely out as a nice big 4 berth. Located on the bottom here, you've got a little cable entry point for your zip, not only for your mains hookup, which is located there, but in the inner. So it means you can have your phone charging in your little storage pocket at night and know where it all is, and it's quite happily. You've got the storage pockets at the front there, and then you've got the mesh kind of idea where it spreads the weight of it with your hanging points as well, and the Velcro tabs running down. On the side, you've got a little ventilation pot on the main body as well. And in the section, here you go, it's probably a bit of an idea. You can see you can access the vent from the inside, and there's a zip that runs all the way along the back, and that zip can be accessed on both inner bedrooms quite happily. Again, nice big mesh funnel, great clarity through the window. And there is a ground sheet you can buy included with the footprint of the front section, so if you wanted to get something in there. Personally, I can't see the point, because it's so exposed at the front. Any sort of water is going to collect on the ground sheet as it sort of drives itself in. We'll look at this little point down here. So that's the little kind of point to allow all the moisture to come out. And like I said, just sort of filters down that side. As we sort of walk around the back, you can see that nice big vent panel right at the back, allowing plenty of air to come in and out. And yeah, again, that's going to really help the conversation. The amount of height you've got in here as well. You know, it's quite a tall tent throughout it. And generally at the back, in terms of sleeping, you're looking around about a sort of 2 bedrooms, 140 wide by 210 for each bedroom. So they're not really skimpy. It is kind of like a big king size bedroom, if you will. But yeah, that's kind of overall our Attwoolls video review on the Weathermaster, at least 4XL. By all means, check out our pitching pack video like we talked about, and let us know what you think of this particular product, and whether you think it's going to be a bit of a winner like we do, probably for the 2020 season going forward. But any more question queries or more information about this actual tent, follow the link below and that'll take you directly through to the product as well. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again soon.